event of code. It's been a while. I've been unwell, so I took a bit of a break from these videos. And I also, so I think the last one I was working on was day 14. So yeah, if we have a look at what day 14 has to offer, we also need to log in. So I need this window. So I'll talk through the solution I came up with day 14, and also some bugs. Right, so we do that. Need to log in. JS storage. That also needs to come down here. So that can go like that, and then that can go there. Cookie equals session equals that thing. Right, so if we go there and refresh this page, right, so we should have all our stars, and you can see I've got 2 stars for day 14. So I've done it basically. So where we had got up to was, if we, I don't know, make some, not that far, maybe like to there, and I want to come to there, so I know where you can go. So what we had to do was basically parse a bunch of paths, and then that would kind of display what showed on a graph, and we can probably see what it was up to when we stopped the last video. And it had that warning. I think that warning's gone away, but I think just because we're not printing. So I will open up Hack Studio and show what this is going on day 14. So I want it there and like that. So we print out a map, and we get the diff for the part 1, which means that we haven't solved it in this version. So how we did it, there was also a bug. Well, there were 2 bugs maybe. So we did this increase, which did this bit here, but we never actually called the increase for overflow, which we created in that video, but we just didn't go through and do that as well. And there was also an annoying bug here that we set X to be all the Y stuff and Y to be all the X stuff, and that had the issue where in fact we can probably see it if we test I think it's actual maybe. Yeah, so if we say actual, so this is what the actual map looks like, and you'll see we have a plus there, and we also have a plus there, and there's only meant to be 1, and there's also 1 there. There's only meant to be 1, and then we get a crash. So that was because we had this round the wrong way, and the index was getting worked out wrong, but that's all good. So I did this code on outside of this system, chmod, that one, just because, yeah, I was unwell and didn't have my usual setup. So now this is all good. So if we can see this, we right, and origin main, maybe that. So we can see I had a few things. Yeah, I accidentally committed the Hack Studio config. But yeah, we fixed some bugs. Maybe if we do -p on this, and like, can we also do -rev and maybe only look at day 14 reverse? So here we can see kind of the flow I went through to fix things. So here the width wasn't going inclusive, which we can see if I open up. No, it was that. Admin old code. So if I run the test on example, it goes to there, but it doesn't like go one further because we wanted to add one to see where it falls over, and for that reason we had to add one to the width and the height. Then there was this bug where the X and Y was swapped around, and we forgot to call the increase for overflow. So after we did that, the map looked better. In fact, what we could do is, how do we do this? I kind of want to get this commit and if I look at status, I can go get reset to that. What's this saying? Yeah, so we want to restore that. Just need to work out how to do the fancy thing I want to do. We can probably go back to there, and this window we can run this again, and after it compiles it should show a better map, I believe. It crashes. Maybe I will stop that trail of thought and instead just kind of look through what I did. So to make things a bit easier, instead of using a byte for the grid, I made an enum type and just have a 2-string on that. And then it was like just kind of easier to read what was going on where and when we do matches and everything. And it just kind of worked out. And you could test for like empty. So I added that thing in, and then for part 1, solved it by basically had a way to show which individual grain was falling with the bold, and the simulate basically worked out where the sand was, and then while the sand has moved, it will then try to, and it hasn't reached the like bottom platform, which basically means it's gone off the main screen, which is important for part 1. So then it basically says, can I go down? If I can't go down, can I go like down and left? If I can't go down left, can I go down and right? Which is how this description describes it. Down one step to the left, and then one step to the right. And then it comes to rest, as they call it. And if we're like debugging this, we'll print out the thing that is falling. Otherwise, it comes to rest, so we set it to be sand, which basically means we can check if things are empty. So that's one of the reasons of the enums. That just makes it a bit easier. And if we reach that kind of end row, we just return none. Now, in my main function, you simulate, and while it isn't none, add to the count and then print it out. And I also had a kind of thing to sleep and show it out. So that was part 1. So part 2, which if we scroll down we should be able to get, we see that it's not actually endless void, so we don't want to stop checking as soon as it reaches like out of bounds. So what we need to do is work out, there's an infinite sideways platform, goes from negative infinity to positive infinity, which whenever you have infinity in problems like this, you want to make it not infinity somehow. So what we're wanting to find is basically how many grains it takes to fill all the way back up to the starting point. So here we can see it takes this much. Now what I realised that if you had kind of a perfect kind of triangle like that, it's always going to, the width is basically going to be 2 times the height, I think it is. Or yeah, like at this point here you can either go the height I've fallen that way or that way, and if it's any more then it will be going above that when it kind of matches back up. So to do that, that kind of made it a bit easier. How I actually did it was just add 500 and subtract 500, so I made a big array. But I think you could do something like that it can only go out that far. But if you had like a different kind of map, it might be a bit different. I'm not too sure. So here we extend it out to be really big. Yeah, and the y only gets set to basically the y minus 2, so it only goes down to like that point there, and then we also actually fill that in and basically say there is a line going from that negative 500 to 500. So I don't actually do it infinite, but it does it enough that it works. And oh no, the 500 was right because I knew the sand is 5 at 500. So because of that, yeah, I think maybe I was thinking that. So if it is at that return point, return none, otherwise it returns that, which means that we had to change this to actually check that it was now the new height minus 3. There's a lot more hard-coded values. I wasn't feeling well and I just got a solution out. And then part 2 was just continue running until it no longer does it, and then we get a count. And if we can just pull now, I think. Oh, I didn't like that. Right, get reset minus hard origin main. And now pull should be fine because it will be at the end. So now if we run this again, it should just pass. But I'll kind of show how slow it can be. So it took nearly 2 seconds. So it's like a bit slow, but it got a solution. And I think it could be interesting if we maybe close that and then reopen that and hope it doesn't crash. What could be interesting is seeing whether we have sleep on Serenity, and cool. It looks like we might be able to just. I did wonder if that would happen. Alright, what we can do is maybe just open up text editor day 8, that button, and also not 8. What are we? 14. 14. Right, and in this, I wanted to basically just print it out and then see what it looks like, because it's kind of cool. Yep, you can save that thing. So if we now go test 14 example, so it should compile it, and because we import a thing to call system commands, we get one more. So now the test suite takes quite a while, and because it's shelling out, it actually takes a while. But if we go build day 14, we can kind of see what is happening. Now, here is all the stuff falling. What I might do is like maybe just kill that. Yeah, sure. What I will do is open up this advent. Oh, come on. Advent of. Gosh. I feel like I have done like something incredibly bad for Serenity doing this. Right, so that's now printing out. Oh, it was probably had finished. But yeah, the example one only needs to go like 10 across. So like the 500 we have here, we can probably change to like 20, say, and it will crash the jakt day 14. It will crash the main. It'll crash the main input. Sorry, that was quite loud coming out. Gosh, it's quite slow compiling. I think like there's something still running heavy. I might need to kill a thing. Kill all day 14 maybe. We've opened up 3 system monitors, maybe close 2 of them, and oh yeah, that has done the big drop we can see down there. So there was one running in the background, but now if we go build day 14, we can see the sand kind of falling down, simulating as it goes, and I found that kind of cool. Because it's trying to get to part 2 or trying get all the way there. Look at it go. Well, actually, we'll print out part 1 wrong because. No, yeah, we'll be good. So we can do that, and if we copy inputs day 14 input to input, we can see what the big thing is, and maybe if I change the terminal font, yeah, change this font to like maybe 10. Whoa, can't do that. Right, cool. Build day 14. Still can't see like the whole thing, but after a while, like if we scroll up, we can see it's filling up kind of there-ish. But if we get back down to the bottom, eventually it will start filling up like this one, but it'll take a while. It's just quite a long map, but if we scroll to like this point, yeah, that's kind of cool. So we can kind of scroll at the point of the map. So it starts at that plus there, and this will keep going until it gets that plus. But because we don't go 500 out, it won't ever make it really. But yeah, it's kind of cool watching this go. I think the sleep in Serenity might not work as the way I wanted, because I think I sleep for 0.1 seconds, and yeah, it feels like it's sleeping a bit longer. But yeah, you can see this kind of boulder dot kind of go up, and then it just goes up that little ramp, and then eventually it will kind of trickle down and fall into these buckets and fall into these buckets. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Sand simulation. Who would have thought that elves would ever want sand to be simulated quite like this? it's taking quite a long time, but it looks cool. It's kind of quick, but yeah. Is that the one where it started? No, we're still climbing up, but I think on the next run it will fall down into these ones. Yeah, so there we can see it's in that bucket there. So if we like scroll like that, yeah, and now it's fallen into this bucket and it'll like fill up there and then go up and I think go into this one. It's a cool map, and like I don't know if everyone's was unique or not. Usually they are, so it's kind of cool to show off my unique map, I guess. But yeah, so now it's got to a point where everything will fall off there, and now we're kind of filling up this little pocket. And eventually this will fill up, and I think overflow into this little thing. And you can see like it just kind of has different layers of things that will kind of stack up the sand in the right way, and then now it should kind of fall into here. So yeah, it's down, and scroll a bit more down in this thing, and eventually that should go to a point where it like goes a bit more. It's got to fill up these side two buckets. Maybe one scroll up. Yeah, so now it's scrolling up there. And now it's onto this platform. Look at it go. Where will it go next? It will go down here. But yeah, I think it goes here, then like here. It's real distracting, the flickering, but I don't know, it's the way it's just too big, so you can't really tell. And I like how it kind of has the notion of going down that way, but at this point it has a gap so it can kind of start flowing this way again, and so now it's going a different way, so now it's kind of zigzagged back, and you can kind of see how we started. So this was our start. We kind of build a platform, go down, and then at this point we go back that way, then we go back this way, and then it's that way for quite a while until we fill up this pocket here. So we're still following this one, and I think we're like close to the bottom of the map, so it's kind of refreshing. Oh yeah, that's the bottom line there, very thick line. But yeah, this should fill up here, then go down into that little thing, then down into here, then fill up all that, and eventually it will make its way all the way to this bottom layer. And then once it finds that bottom layer, it will keep on going, and eventually it will crash because it will go out of bounds. But it will attempt to build all the way up back to that start point, which was all the way back up here, which it's pretty cool that it could do that. Yeah, look at it go. Where's it up to? It's still in there. It's nearly got to the top of this little bucket. I like how there's like little buckets and they won't fill them all up because of the way the sand kind of is meant to fall. And like, yeah, like these ones kind of went on that side, but it's actually underneath the part where it can't get to from above. And it's kind of cool. Like, I wonder if the guy that designed the problem kind of thought about how the sand would kind of flow. But yeah, now we've got to a point where we're almost at the bottom. I think we're like, yeah, we're building up a ramp there. And then, yeah, we'll probably like fall off there. Yeah, so now we fell off there. Now we've fallen into this bucket. Gosh, it's getting to the end. So we'll probably fill up those and then fill up all that. And I think, depending on the height of that, it might start filling up back this way. But yeah, who knows? Well, you can probably work it out, but yeah, because I think we'll get to this point. Yeah, now it's fallen down here, and then it'll do these things, and it'll go that way and that way, and then eventually it should line up on one of down there, and now it will start the long process of like building up from there, which I don't know even where it is now. It was like there. Yeah, so now it's probably going to spill up over here. Yeah, it's made like another one. And I'll like do a little shuffle up there, then eventually it'll be in this little bit, and then in that little bit. And it'll just keep on going and expanding out and out and out. And part 2 needs to figure out how many tall it needs to get to that plus there, which is quite a lot. So where is it there? It just built up a ramp there. Yeah, now it's there. And so here I think it'll just continuously build this ramp out and out until it gets to like kind of that point there. It's really hard to describe, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I like it. Sand simulation. Sand simulation. Written in like an experimental language on an experimental operating system. Well, actually, I wrote it in the experimental language in just my Linux system, but it can now run in this. In fact, I made the temporary edits to print out the map using this. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can see it's built another layer, and like in 2 more layers, or it might start going there, and then it might fall off this end and go here, and then build up there, and then like up to there. It'll just keep going. I'm kind of tempted just to leave this running, or like maybe make something of it. You got to have like quite a small font. I wonder if I can change the font. I'm real nervous it will like not like this, because last time I tried to change the font it was not liking it. Right, so 10 looks like the smallest I can have. I was thinking I could have there's a tiny font I think in text editor. In fact, we can probably open up this and view editor font. Yeah, so this had a tiny and tinier. I pushed the wrong button. Yeah, tinier and tiny, which are just 2 small fonts, I guess. If we could have that for the terminal, it could have shown the whole map. We just got a kernel panic. Where did we get up to? Yeah, so it had, we can't see where my mouse is, but we had kind of started falling off to the left, and then we had a full-on kernel panic because we were trying to do too much multitasking. But that's alright. I think that's a good spot to finish this video, because I have finished day 14, was it? Yeah, day 14. So I'll see you next time in another video.